Good Wednesday evening. It's another Armal evening. American Region Mahjong League action coming live to you with Nathaniel and Sean. How's it going, Sean?
I'm doing well. Thanks, Nathaniel. How are you this evening?
Doing excellently. And we've got a fantastic matchup here. Andy, Ken, Kanna, and Joseph will be duking it out, split in the standings, but we are just hitting the fourth round, the fourth session of action. So officially halfway through the season. And that means that the standings become even more relevant as time progresses. Andy will be our first dealer. Ken is to the right. Kanna across the table. And Joseph slams a Ricci on our left. What's this looking like?
Yeah. It was like 6-9 weight. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I had a couple choices there with the confirmed E-Peko, the 3-4-5 twin sequences. Could have chosen the 5-8 or the 6-9 here.
Adonis says, I'm going to fight. Goes ahead and pawns the east, has two Dora. Oh, but draws the deal in.
Tough not to push, though, with two Dora. South instead, though.
Instead, yep.
Nice little dodge there. With the 5 Ricci, sometimes the 6-9 can be a bit more dangerous. And also, because of the amount of time that was spent on the discard, sometimes you feel like the weight is around that tile if they're thinking about it that long.
Absolutely, for sure. Which is funny because they say usually later, when you see the later Ricci's, then it's more dangerous around the discard. Earlier, it's not. And so,
right.
Then it would have been like, ooh, scary.
Oh, that's Tempai. So 4 jams out, but Sumo instead. Joseph, a big win here. The expensive side, the Takaman, 6-0.
Pick up the Ukeko, yep.
Yeah, Tanyao confirmed. Ricci, Pinfu, Sumo, of course. Ipeko, Tanyao. No Ira for the Hanuman, but great start for Joseph, who has been having a pretty strong season so far. 102 points already, only halfway through the season. So can hope to score even more in this series.
Yeah, definitely in a good spot to keep potentially climbing here as we move into our last 12 games.
And of course, for viewers who are curious, this is the B division. C1 split into 2 divisions. This is B division, which mostly is holding new entrants into the league. So might be our first time watching a few of these players.
Yeah, I feel like we probably don't get a ton of coverage on our C1B side for sure. So I'm always thrilled to see new players because that means one, Ricci Mahjong, continues to grow here in the ARML, and then two, there could be strong players already, but there could be players just coming into their own. And it's always great to, as you continue to play against others, because you just learn more strategy and about yourself and your own play style. So always happy to see it.
Absolutely. Anything you notice from these hands?
I actually have been taking a look here. So let's see. So we've got Legend here as the dealer. Already a strong potential Itsu if they decide to open up and call. But it looks like we already have someone in Tenpai.
Yeah, on the right, Kanna just got there on the 3-pin. Now, no Ricci. A lot of times, folks will just slam here, but maybe there's value potential with a Tuso draw for 2-3-4 Sanshoku.
Right. Could eventually change the weight up if they do end up picking that up. Yeah, it's a safe Dama. No Dora in your hand. With the Ricci, you're only betting on an Ura flip, but throws the 2 and keeps the extra 7.
So as you predicted, looking for the weight improvement. 6-7, 7-8 pin accepts a lot of tiles for a multi-sided weight. And I think,
looking at the other hands, a lot of the pins are being taken up.
Notably the 3-pin, which was the previous weight, thrice held. Therefore, there's only one in the wall, so seems to probably have been a good decision.
Ken throwing that ESO right back, not doing any favors.
And not really able to call the south here unless he was planning on making some type of flush. However, we're going to see a Ricci from Andy.
5-8 beyond me.
Oh, an immediate chase. Kanna got
the. I was just saying. Go ahead.
Yeah, Kanna got the good one. Ipeko potential on 5-8 pin. So 5-8 so versus 5-8 pin, and another chase.
Ricci chase.
I love this. There's so many options for this Ricci, though. Joseph can play the 3-mon for the widest weight, the 6-mon for the value.
Plays for the value. Still early in the game, despite being at first size up. Oh. Now this is interesting here. Okay, throws the sap. That's the safe discard.
It gets to play it twice now. Buy a little bit more time. 5 so. Boom.
So it's good. That's what Andy. Yeah, you don't take that one. Ricci Pinfu and no work. But an extra, what, 2 Ricci sticks to make that 5,000 points?
Yeah, that's a lot more than you're expecting. The Ricci sticks that you stole from other players were worth the same amount as the hand itself. So big pickup for Andy.
That will push us to Kana as the dealer as we move into East 3. And looking at the hand here, looks it's pretty standard here. Maybe go for a Ricci Pinfu shape. How already has some Mentsu formed. No Dora in the hand, though.
I love the fact that there are 3 4-tile shapes, just 4 tiles in a row. The so-called
Right.
Yonenke.
Yeah, I don't see that too often.
It's extremely efficient, and this is just a beautiful Ishanten now. There's so many draws that will give Tempai. And if you draw the 4-7 so into Tempai, then you get to even choose which Nobiton weight, which this could be 1-4 pin for the pair, or 6-9 mon for the pair. On the right, Joseph has a lot of pairs. Too many pairs, perhaps. We'll see if this turns into a Pinfu type hand, a sequence-based hand, or if he continues to collect more pairs.
It's an interesting keep on the Haku by Kana there, and decides to throw out a 1 pin to solidify a Mentsu shape in the hand. Hasn't seen any Haku, maybe thinking, hey, I can pick up some more value here potentially if I draw into a pair of it, and even go for a Ricci for a closed triplet, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that does lose quite a bit of efficiency, and there's the chance that, if we pair up the Haku, we will just be Tempai for Ricci only, whereas if we paired up the 1 pin or 4 pin, we'd have Ricci Pinfu at least.
Yeah.
So maybe you're right about noticing that the Haku just hasn't come out and being a little bit cautious, but now it has.
Yeah. And now I would absolutely definitely throw it myself, just to continue to keep the widest efficiency possible.
Yeah, not even holding onto the door here, so trying to be a little bit cautious.
Yeah, it's always a little nerve-wracking as dealer to throw out the very first Dora hasn't been seen yet. You're like, oh man, this is potential for me in the dealer seat to grant some value, but yeah, it's not working for me in this hand, so I'm going to go ahead and toss it and see what happens. It gives you information. If somebody calls it, you got more info now.
Do have a 1 away from Tempai on the left for Ken. 2 mon, 5 mon will both work. 3-6 pin as well. Oh, finally a Ricci. And presumably 6-9 mon is taken here.
Only 1 out so far, and only 1 6 mon held up in the hand, so that's 2 left for each, 4 total potential weights.
Oh, Tempai immediately, and although the 5 mon isn't safe, he'll jam it out, and again, Kana happens to draw the Dylan tile. And this one, it's on Ipatsu. Ricci Ipatsu Pinfutora no Ura, but that means that Mongan for Ken.
Yeah. There is no worse feeling in the world as dealer hitting Ricci to only to see someone else immediately declare it and immedially draw their deal in tile.
Yeah, draw something close to the door. It's so rough. And so far, Kana has dealt into 2 hands that were not, no fault, right? You just get to Tempai, you slam your strong Ricci, especially as dealer in this most recent one, and you get punished for it sometimes. But in the long run, those moves should pan out to the positive. So can't be too afraid to keep making those correct decisions.
Yeah, don't beat yourself up for making the correct decisions. Yeah, absolutely.
Joseph now our dealer East for his first time in the dealer seat. Potential Tanya perhaps with a single Dora 7 so in hand. On the right, Andy's got 3 pairs, probably aiming for more of a Pinfu type hand though. We'll see how the 3-4-4 pin, 6-6 pin shape resolves. Maybe you draw a 5 pin, maybe you draw 2 of them for the twin sequences, although he's up to 4 pairs now. Across the way, Ken has filled out one more shape. A lot of floating tiles, a lot of floating honors, I should say, that need to be discarded or paired up, but has all the blocks that he needs, really. Just needs to find something to connect to this 3 pin. Or the 3 mon triplet certainly helps as well. Now you're just looking for a pair.
Yeah.
And when you're sort of headless, they say, without a pair, there's so much flexibility in how you interpret your shapes.
Yeah, and now with that discard on the tune, you're holding on for either the one or the three, so to be the head. I probably may have even thrown the three myself to keep my options between the tune or the ESO. And seeing two of the red or red already out, it's like, okay, probably not. So maybe a
Boom.
smarter play there.
Yeah, and another important thing for folks to notice is when we've got this headless shape, no pair, it went away, and we have a triplet. Now, we can always slim down from the triplet to become our pair. So if you have an incompleted block like this 1-3-so, you're
Boom.
hoping to just pair up the 1-so or the 3-so. But even if you draw the 2-so, you don't have to sacrifice the 2-3 pin diamond shape because you don't need to cut one of those tiles to make a pair. You can just cut the 3-mon out of the triplet to become the pair, and then you get the good shape 2-3 pin diamond.
Dong.
That's going to deal into our dealer with just simple Tanya Aldora 3. Easy manga.
Yeah, I expected that hand to be Tanya. I was not expecting door 3. I didn't notice that Joseph had paired it up. And then when Kana discarded the 7, it got called. Dealer door 3 calls, always scary.
Boom.
Always scary. That will put Joseph into the dealer seat once again for Ipomba on East 4. This hand also has Tanya potential. Already got a couple of good shapes filled out here.
Chi.
Starting by throwing out the terminals first. But the 9 pin is called.
Andy says, all right, I see what you can do in your dealership. I don't want to see any more of that. Let's just get this hand over with. Ishan 10 already on the right.
Ishan ready. Looking for that 4 pin or 4-7 on. Yep.
I wonder if Andy can turn this into some type of flush. Like right now, if he gets to call the 2 pin or the 4 pin, he's just tempai, which is 1,000 points. That's okay. But if he gets greedy, he could cut 5-mon, 6-mon.
Yeah. Decides to go for speed.
I think that's fair. I suspect if Andy had drawn, say, a pair of the 1 pin or a pair of the 5 pin or even something like the 6 pin, he probably would have gotten a little bit more greedy for 3 Han. But since he just got the tempai immediately, it's totally fine to take this.
Yeah. No 4s, no 7s out. 8 potential outs. Yeah, we're absolutely going for speed.
And this speed might be really important as well because Joseph, as the dealer, is already one away from tempai once again. Could even call here for tempai for Tanyao. But there's a lot more value in declaring Ricci.
Takes the call. Is the wait on the 5-mon. Yep. A good friend Laura calls us the dealer maintenance programs. Hey, I'm already in the lead, by a little bit over Mongon, and I'm just going to make a call for a wait and see if I can continue the streak as dealer.
Sumo.
Well, it will end. Kana tries once again with a Ricci. Strong Ricci there. Andy, first attempt by, will find the win.
That moves us into South 1 with Andy back as the dealer in the second go around. Let's see, with the start of a triplet of the E1, and then not a whole lot else, but we'll see if these shapes fill out here. Potential, when you look at a hand like this, you're 7-8-9 with a triplet of a 1 pin, and a 1 south. You always have to tell yourself, if I get lucky on just a couple draws, I can easily shift this over to Chanta.
Yeah, and these draws have been coming, maybe even Junchan now. We've cut all of our honors, so could be fully outside hand. All shapes, including 1 terminal tile, including our pair.
7 so, yep.
And once again, we have this flexible situation where we have no pair in the hand. Confirmed, however, we have a triplet that can slim down if we need it. If we draw, say, the 3 pin and the 2-so, we could choose to wait on the 9-mon itself as a tanki, or we could cut the 1-mon and wait on the 7.
Yeah, shouldn't pick up the 2-mon, throws the 8. Still keeping that option open for Junchan.
Yeah, maybe even 1-2-3 Sanchoku on top of things. Definitely a good eye for value here. 8-9-mon, 9-mon.
And that 3 pin is a great pickup.
I do slightly prefer cutting the 8-mon first, just because the 9 is a little bit safer. And if we do pair it up, there's only 1 left. But if we do pair it up, then we're just Junchan Tempai closed. And the 2-so looks relatively strong as a weight.
Ken goes ahead and pawns the 8-mon, looking maybe for just a quick Tanyao hand with an easy weight.
If I'm a player sitting at the table and I see a 5-mon Dora and a Tanyao call, I get a little worried that they have multiple in hand, but it turns out that Ken is not the player with the door. It's actually Joseph on the left.
Yes. 3 of them. Very dangerous.
That could even be larger. If he draws another triplet and gets a Tsumo, that's Saranko on top of things. Potential monster value. We do have the Ken Tenpai though, 4-7, so Tanya only.
Yeah, only one out.
This is a hilarious Tenpai.
Each.
Go ahead and reach. What's just got the 4th weight on the 7 pin? Yep. Okay.
Kang.
All the Dora drawn, and Joseph says, I see a Ricci, I don't care.
Chi.
I've got all the Dora, so Khan.
Now Tenpai on the 3 Mon, which all are being held across the way by
Oh
Kana.
my goodness. And the funny thing is, Andy is technically Tenpai for both the 2-mon and the 3-mon, but can only win on the 3.
Wrong.
Oh, it's shut down by Ken.
A simple time, yeah.
It does save the day.
Which will push us into South 2 now with Andy taking over as the dealer. No, excuse me, it's Ken. Ken, that was Andy's dealership. Now we have Ken taking over as the dealer.
And Ken in second place to Joseph, so this is an opportunity to steal away first. About 10,000 points separates the two, so Mongon Sumo more than does that. Maybe not quite a Mongon hand here. No Dora just yet, but the 2-4 pin can accept the 3-pin Dora.
Home.
Palm.
Yeah, fast pawn by Andy there. It has potential to upgrade even to a Honitsu if it continues to draw Sozu tiles, but we'll see what comes out well. There's another one. Throws the East.
Yeah, very, very fast, efficient looking hand for Andy. And there is a question, of course, because the 8-so is in hand and Andy's already opened up. If someone were to discard the 8-so, would you con that?
Let's see. South 2, you're in a very strong, high score 3rd place, but 3rd place nonetheless. Because otherwise, that hand value is just looking at what? Hatsu Nomi at the moment? Yeah. So there may very well be potential to call a con there.
Yeah, I definitely am thinking about it. The con gives us a draw as well, which could just pull us into Tenpai immediately. And it feels like we should be ahead of the rest of the table. Just by the fact that we are a very strong Ishanten, one away from Tenpai. And, well, we do see that Ken is not that far behind here after filling in the Dora of all tiles, the beautiful 3-pin draw.
Yeah, picks up a 4, he'll be Ipeco confirmed, with, but then, of course, headless, so we'll see what happens.
So, funnily enough, on the right, Kana was Tenpai. She toyed Dora too, but decided to go for more value.
Interesting.
Each.
Okay, so now that does put in, or excuse me, Ken into Tenpai and decides to discard the
Oh no!
5.
Wrong.
Kana was caught in the middle of cutting away from the pair of 3-mon, and Ken got Tenpai at the perfect time for the Ipatsu, and unfortunately for Kana as well. 3-pin Dora was drawn, a triplet of 3-pin to accompany the flush. There's no way you don't push that hand against
Absolutely.
the dealer. Now, maybe you cut the Haku on Ipatsu turn just to, deny one extra hunt, but that hand's basically always going to deal in.
Yeah.
There's just no
So
escape.
Home.
Ken will continue the dealership with a fast call on the Hatsu to the left by Andy. And if we look, we've got, is that Kana? Yeah, Kana's already got a pleated concealed triplet of the Chun. So could potentially, but being so far down now in 4th place, you have to tell yourself, okay, like it's great, and I could open up and make calls, but that's not going to give me the value I need to fight back.
At the same time, though, Andy is opening so quickly that you might just have to call, otherwise you're not going to get any points out of this. And if your plan is to open up, I would consider trying to work your way down to a Dora Tonki for a little bit of value. No, but just throws it out.
Throws it out, though, yep.
Andy is Tenpai. Gets an upgrade of weight 2-5 Mon. We'll get bonus Fu on Sumo for 1 in 40.
ドン
Let the Feynman filters out, and we'll just grab the 1300. And now we go to Kana in south 3.
Yeah, and kind of looking here to ride this dealership as long as possible. Opens up, has two completed Metsus, no pair in the hand, so this, well, just picks up the pair, so now can start filtering down to complete the hand.
Yeah, this promising start. You're not happy to see an early call from the left, Ken trying to speed this hand up, but that call has allowed Kana to draw some really excellent tiles, the 9-so pair, as you mentioned, and now this 3-pin, so already one away from Tenpai.
Yeah, accepts the Dora. You're happy to see it always.
Maybe even a chance at some type of Sanchoku, 2-3-4, 1-2-3. That is a Tenpai. Now we've seen Kana pass up on early Richi like this, and I like this pass as well. There are many routes to extra value. If you draw the 1-mon, you get 1-2-3 Sanchoku. If you draw the 4-pin,
相撲
No need for that, just sumo.
I'm wondering if we should Furita Richi there. Trust the commentator to say, I like this play, and then have it immediately backfire.
You know, you're not wrong. There is something to be said. I would love to hear other people's opinions, especially those who are watching the stream. Would you have taken a Furry Tenrichi there to build value with you being so far down the fourth like this?
Yeah, I will say that if the scores were a lot closer, it's very standard to slam a Richi as dealer on a bad weight, but with the scores being this far apart, I really see a lot of potential for value. And Furita Richi is... It's not like a standard move, but I think within the score situation, it makes some degree of sense. So I think maybe the standard play is just take the win and repeat as dealer. But I will admit that I have an addiction to Sanchoku, so I'm a little bit biased.
Picks up a completed East. Now, I don't know if Kana had two already when that first one was discarded on the right by Joseph there, but does sumo the fourth and final copy of it into their own hand.
Yeah, that is patience rewarded for sure.
And just one away, of course, can pick up the 3-pin, and just like that, and we'll put them into Tenpai. Let's see what happens here.
Could Dama 4-mon or 6-mon could drop the 7 away down the 5. We'll slam something. 6-0.
Okay, gonna wait for the Tanki on the 6-0.
Yeah, another spot where I like waiting for a better option, but a lot of our good draws might be a little bit challenging. I guess 6-mon is good, 5-mon's good, 1-pin, 4-pin, 6-pin, 9-pin are all good, and some random honor is also pretty good too.
Yeah, looking out at the potential upgrades, I'm only seeing two 5-mon that were out. So yeah, a lot of potential. Of course, you're in Kana's position here, and they look at it and they say, okay, East Yaku, Dora. Again, trying to maybe go speed, put some pressure on the rest of the players.
Also, we just saw what happened the last time, so maybe just slamming a Richi immediately is good. Oh no, this time the chase is going to pay out for Joseph. Richi, Pinfu, no Sanchoku here, but there is a Dora. Of course, the Ipatsu. A full Mangan for Joseph. I can't help but feel like Kana's gotten just a little unlucky so far in this game.
Definitely, you're not alone. No, there's definitely been a little bit of variance, not in favor of Kana, for sure. To just discard that 2-mon and then, the 4-mon and then immediately pull it again, and now this time it's what they're waiting for.
All right, well, Joseph now the dealer at East for a huge lead. Doesn't have to be content with that lead, though. Really wants to aim for a top spot here in the C1 division, C1B division.
Yeah, with his 57,000, if he was to get first here, he absolutely would shoot straight up to the top. This would be enough to put him above Brandon. But as you said, the more points we can rack up here, if it's possible, then that just gives them an even more comfortable lead in that top spot.
Oh, my eyes have been drawn across the table to Ken, who might have a hand to challenge, though. 2 Dora and a bunch of pairs. And a triplet. Do we toy?
50,000 toy 2 Dora would certainly, even on a sumo, would give them enough to take first. So there is potential.
does choose, thought about it a long time, but does let the first one mon pass.
I think that's the correct call. We're in the first.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, boy. Rewarded. Rewarded.
Absolutely rewarded.
They pull one more triplet tile to form a triplet, and we're going to be in for some good mahjong watching here.
Okay, hang on a second. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. I see Tuso is held by 2 players. 7-pin is held by 2 players. So that means that with these current draws, we can't actually win Suanko.
True.
But there's an option. Should this 9-mon pair up, and the opportunity exists, we'll just play for maximum efficiency here. And at this point, I'm pretty sure Ken will open up on any tile, any pawn, rather.
Right.
Door also held, so all of these pairs are held by other players. Ken really needs someone to drop it.
Just discarded the 3, picks up the 4 so here, completes the second shape, throws the 5 to make it on the 1-4 pin now.
Okay, this is really interesting. With all of these pairs, Ken can choose to discard 8-pin and be, or 1-mon and be Ishanten for Chitoi, where any tile that he's not discarded already will be Chitoi Tempai with door 2, but instead chooses to hold the current Ishanten, and the 1-pin comes out. Joseph with the Dama. Now the game doesn't end, even though he is in first place as the last dealer. In the Arnold rules, if you win as the all-as dealer, you keep going until your dealership passes.
Yep, the good old blessing and the curse with the Gariyame being turned off.
For that reason, I feel like there might be reason to slam the Ricci there. However, with this lead, perhaps Joseph just didn't want to make it easier for Ken to overtake and be vulnerable, where he had a Yaku and thus didn't have to. So could have been a couple different reasons for choosing that Dama.
Yeah, and given the spicy hand that Ken had, that was probably a good call. Now, quickly calls the Hatsu here. Again, looking for speedy hands. With the Dora being the 6-pin, Joseph can't accept it, but picks up a pair of the 7-pin. We'll see what they decide to discard here. Already has 2 pairs in hand.
It's so easy to be tempted into thinking, ooh, pair, I could be Toy. But I think it's much better to hold for maximum efficiency, as Joseph is doing here.
Agreed. Discard the 5 row, so we'll throw the 4. That passes.
Big draw, 7 so across the table for Ken. Potential 6, 7, 8 Sanchoku, which would be the value that Ken is looking for to overtake first place.
Tuso not doing them Joseph any help, so throws it right back. Okay, picks up the 5.
Ooh, interesting. And he's satisfied with third place here. Says, I don't need the Toy. I just want to get the better weight.
Yeah, I don't see the 3 6s coming out though.
Uh-oh.
Picks up. Yep.
Turns out that there was no weight that was going to win there for Andy. Joseph, just too strong right now, cannot stop winning.
Moves us to Nihonba with a now 10,000 point lead over second place. So even so, they're really going to have to fight for some high value hands here, or I should say, at least Ken will have to if they want to overtake.
Yeah, right now the gap still within Mongon sumo range, but we're out of Mongon direct, so you're right. Ken will need to build value, and might just give up with the on the value seeking and just try to confirm a very strong second.
Yeah.
We'll see. Joseph, another brilliant looking hand. Yamen Ishanten.
Yeah, 5-8 on either the Manzu or the Sozu will do it.
Chitoi is always a possibility for Ken, though. Very interesting decision now. too many pairs, so what to cut? Could just cut 1 mon, 4 so, and think about the flush. 6-pin hedge is the straight, 1 through 9. Itsu.
Yeah, I think if you're still thinking about fighting for first, you would absolutely do the one mon and the 4 so first here. Al picks up a 2 so we'll see. I imagine it's coming right back out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a really intriguing spot. Difficult to know what to hedge. Like holding the 1 mon pair hedges some type of chanta sometimes. I think Ken is satisfied to hedge the straight though.
Yeah.
That's Tempai.
That is
リーチ
Senpai picks up the triplet, slams the Ricci button, 1 mon Hatsu.
And you could easily see Joseph playing out a Hatsu here. Now, this is the direct competition, so if Joseph had a clear path to fold, now would be the time to do it. I'm not sure there's such a clear path, though.
Yeah, 4 mon definitely looks dangerous.
You could try 9. No. Joseph says, I'm out. I'm done. I tried.
Yep.
I no longer need to play.
Absolutely. And when you're in first place like this with this kind of lead, oh, I didn't even realize that we were in Senpai here. Okay.
Chases
Kana
back.
going out with one last final stand.
Similar weight as well. Both players waiting on a once-cut dragon. Wow, Joseph would have sumoed already. Amazingly. Chosen to fight. Ah, 5 cells is a scary tile to be cutting out, but it passes.
Yep.
It gives Joseph one more free tile to get through. And he's going to have a tough time. Oh,
ロン
finally Kana winning a Ricci battle. This time, Ricci Chun, no Uda, but it's nice to win one hand. Brings you a little bit of momentum into the next game.
Nice to keep the spirits up with a hand win right at the end of the game.
In the end, though, it's Joseph absolutely gorgeous hands this game. The flow was in his favor. Plus 45.5 will jump in the standings all the way into first place, I believe, when the standings update. Ken, a great result. Plus 20.9 is an incredibly respectable second place. It's as good as a lot of first places, actually. And he finds the plus 1.4 third place for being over 30,000. Usually a third place is negative, but as long as you are over 30,000 points in this league, you will finish with a positive score. And kind of takes the rough end of things here, but there will be another game. Fortunes could easily change.
Sure enough, I believe, with the updated table, that will put Joseph up into first.
I was really happy with the efficiency at this table. Felt like the players had a good sense of base efficiency, which is the most important part of Mahjong, I think. And
yeah, for sure.
When all the players have strong efficiency, that leads to really exciting hands where everyone gets Tempai at the same time, and that's where the real test comes. Someone else has declared Ricci, but you're one away. Do you fight? Do you fold? And all those really, really challenging decisions are so fun to see how other players handle at each moment.
Of course, you're absolutely right. It's so easy in casual play to open up, pawn everything, con for flow, as they say. But when you're doing league games and division games and tournaments, you really want to lean back onto the fundamentals of efficiency, like you said, to really open the opportunity for those amazing hands and showdowns. Yeah.
I have to say, this 13 games into the season, Joseph with a 32% win rate is kind of nuts.
That's fantastic. Pros would love a 32%.
17.7% dealing dealing rate is a little high, but when you're winning 32% of the hands, it doesn't matter that much.
Yeah.
I didn't hear the gong, so I think we're missing sound effects. Let's make sure that's going. And we are into game number 2. Ken will be our first dealer. On the right in the south seat is Andy. Across the table in the west seat, Kanna, and on the left, in the north seat, is Joseph.
Yep. And it looks like Ken, starting as dealer, already has a pair of the Hatsu, so could go for a quick dealer open hand here, but may try to hold as long as possible to build value. No Dora, Dora being the 6 so at the moment. Looks like only one is held across the way by Kana.
And maybe one on the left for Joseph, but
yes.
Kana certainly having an easier time to use it, although the 5 so pickup for Joseph is kind of huge here. Now has an easy path to use that 6 so. Nice draw for Ken of the 4 mon. Slowly working his way to Tempai. It will be a while before we see the Hatsu come out because, well, no one's drawn any. They're in the wall somewhere.
Another good pickup for Ken, helping fill out the fourth of his shapes, fourth of his fifth shape.
Looks like Joseph's going to have some decisions to make. Too many blocks, so you got to cut one. Probably hold for the 2-4 Sanchoku, so 7 pin, 8-9 mon would be my first choices for that hand.
Agreed.
Kana Ishanten across the table. One away from Tempai. Could slam an early Richi. Could also sometimes cut north-north and play for a Tanyao. So I imagine this 4 pin is being kept just in the off chance that we can draw our way down. Maybe even cut north-north here.
Yeah, nothing wrong with holding on to an Ariane shape.
Nice 3-pin draw for Joseph. We are Diamond Ishanten 1 so 4 so and 4 so 7 so will be our draws to Tempai. The 3 mon is acting as the pair in that hand. Hello, Ken. How did we end up here?
Yeah. The hand has morphed from its original premise.
Pump.
I thought this would be a nice, efficient Richi ending up on like a Shabo Hatsu something else. And instead we're going for Suanko. That's cool. That's fantastic.
You'll hear no complaints from us. We love to see it.
That's
Look at this.
Andy is the table savior right now. Tempai on 4 pin 7 pin 4. Haku only. Oh, that's a Tempai. And you probably just have to slam this here. Now,
you absolutely do.
Because of the way this was drawn to Tempai, Ken will potentially get San Uncle upon Sumo. On road, it'll just be Richi Hatsu.
Yeah. 3 so we see one other out and one other 5 mon down being held. So one chance each.
Is Joseph going to play 4 pin here? Oh my goodness.
Sure.
One turn too late to deal into Andy. Andy was forced to switch up the weight because the 6 pin wasn't safe. And Joseph might get in trouble here if he draws the Tempai, because 2 mon is safe, but the 5 mon gives Sanchoku a lot of the time, so might greed for value. Oh, Andy will shut it down. Sumo
for the hot food.
Okay, it's all about the food. Get the extra food with the 1 pin sumo. Maximizing value. So Andy off to a little bit of a lead. Hello.
What a fantastic high buy.
Triplet of East. That's double tone. East, round wind, and... Oh, wait, hang on a second. I think I've gone too far. Well, misclick. So that wasn't dealer double tone for Kana. We're looking at Andy here, who has less of an exciting high buy, I gotta say.
But still, shapes completed here, so not terrible, not terrible. But yes, not as exciting as if they had been video. Nice pickup with the 6 mon from Ken on the left, filling out those shapes nicely.
Tempai, yeah. Just a slam. 6 so, 8 so, Shabo weight, Richi East. Difficult for other players to defend. There's just not that much information, so you could see someone try the 8 so pretty easily.
Yeah, you see 3 terminals and honors come out, and then of course what's next after that? Generally the 8 so over the 2, or an 8 over a 2. So 8 absolutely can play.
Joseph thinks about it and says, "No, I'm just gonna stick with the safe 2-pin for now." Really had too many blocks anyway, so not losing too much to start with a safe tile.
We haven't seen the fourth beast. I wonder what Kana would do if she picked up the fourth one.
Oh, I think it's in the name. Kana would definitely Kanya.
That's great. Absolutely.
Dealer pretty tempted to fight here. Now with a Dora, a strong Dora shape. And the Monzu look relatively safe. 1 mon is Suji, 6 mon is Nakasuji. The 3 mon and the 9 mon came out, so if you're thinking about your keyboard numbers, 369, 6 mon is in between the 3 and the 9, so.
Yeah, and as more time passes with coming out, it gives you more information to work with. So sadly, one of the cons of early Reachies. Assuming you get that far.
Right. He hasn't had to try anything too dangerous on his dealership just yet, so really liking the odds of being able to fight. Even the 8-pin itself is not too bad, since he's holding 3 of the 7-pin already.
Yep.
Okay, and we'll go with the safer route, but this definitely reduces a lot of opportunity in the hand. Oh, the east has been drawn, so no con.
No con this time.
Still 2 tiles on the wall for a potential Tsumo.
Delaying a little on the potential Haku discard. Only saw that one has been out so far.
Yeah, maybe just double checking to make sure that that Haku came out before the Riichi and not after.
Yeah.
It did indeed come out before, so.
Ken elects to hold on to his as well, but then Andy will go ahead and throw out that second.
And presumably we'll see the other 2 players now, Ken and Joseph, follow pretty soon.
Yeah. 5 is Genbutsu, but hold on to it.
Yeah, probably believes that the 5 will be safer to other players later on, and well, there's the Tsumo. It took a long time, but got there. Reached Tsumo Ton no Ura, but a lot of Fu, and that'll be a good start for Kana as well. And now we get to Kana's dealership. This is not double tone.
This is sadly not double tone. I see 1 completed shape and 1 copy of the North Dora in hand.
So we've seen so far in this series that Kana is not too afraid to cut out these Dora early on. However, we are perilous, and there is a slight idea at a Chanta here, maybe even a stronger thought towards Chanta. So perhaps we hold this Dora a little bit longer than we would otherwise.
Yeah, I think it's going to depend on what happens. You've got a lot of possibilities, like you said. If you do end up having to get rid of the North like this, you could elect to shift it over towards just Junchan, but then you give up the North Dora and your Chanta. So unfortunately, she did throw it. Excuse me, they did throw it.
Yeah, it makes sense to throw it once you have the pair, because we'd like to improve this 1-2 Penchon into something better. And kind of will even do so right now, cutting the 2-1 in favor of the 5-6, which for the time being doesn't seem that much stronger. It's still waiting on a middle tile compared to an edge tile. However, the 4-6 pin, of course, can be improved in the future with something like a 3-pin draw or a 7-pin draw. Even if you pair up 4-pin or 6-pin itself, that could lead to future improvements as well. It opens up the possibility of drawing around the 6-mon and creating an open-ended shape there.
Yeah, Ken go ahead and pawns because he has to if he wants to use that as a seat, when given that the 4th copy is being used as an Dora indicator. So,
well, this 5-so is helpful. It overlaps, the 4-5 accepts 3-6-so, and that overlaps with the acceptance of the 7-8, 6-9 are the tiles that accepts. However, gives you a chance at a straight, so I think it's worth going for.
Absolutely.
The 4 pins back well says, "Are you sure?"
The vengeance
Have you considered taking me back? I kind of like 9-pin here.
Yeah, I was gonna say break up the no baton right here, but
Oh, just straight forward towards the potential 678 Sancho. Now this steps back in Shantan.
yeah, and given that we've seen already multiple copies of the door come out, I think that's an okay play. Like some would argue against it, and completes the Mensu here for 5, 6, 7.
Okay, gonna hold double Nobaton shape. Cutting the 9-pin is also pretty efficient here because you could see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shape as a double Nobaton in its own right. Accepts the 1, 4 so into Tenpai and the 2, 5 so into Tenpai. It also accepts the 3, 6 as well into a Tenpai, so makes it particularly strong. Kind of amazing. No one's hit Tenpai yet. Even the Ken across the table with 2 calls hasn't gotten there. As you noted, North Door has come out, so it's a little bit difficult for other hands to have value. And this 7 so draw is particularly where that having that 1 so would be helpful. We'd be able to get the Diamond Tenpai.
Finally in Tenpai across the way.
Okay, West only 6-9 Mon weight.
Yep.
1, 2,
3.
3, 4, 5. So 3 tiles left.
Yep.
Tough decision, looks like.
Cut the 2 so once already. Khan decides to do so again.
I think Kana will.
質問
I was gonna say we'll probably call the second 9 so just to try to maintain or try to beat Tenpai for the Ryukyoku. However, it doesn't matter. Ken gets the Tsumo, so dealership will pass forward.
Which will put us into Joseph as the dealer as we move into East 4 with a very nice looking high pie there with 2 copies of the door of the 4 so. Picks up a great 5-pin drop.
This is fantastic. We saw in the last game, Joseph pulled out a Tanyao Dora 3 earlier, and so perhaps that is the plan for this game as well. Of course, a little bit hard to expect to see. We do have Ken picking one up on the right, and he also has an incredibly strong hand.
Ooh, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 7, 1. I think that's one of the strongest 7 tile shapes you can have.
Absolutely. If he draws 1-pin, 4-pin into Tenpai, it will be a 5-sided weight.
Ooh.
It's a bit unfortunate. In fact, Joseph drew the 2-mon, because now he has to think about not being Tanyao. Could just say, yeah, I forget that. I'm going to go to the 2, but oh my goodness, Ken got the best draw to the 4-pin, and I feel like he's just guaranteed to win this hand.
2, 5, 8, 3, 6 so we'll do it. Or 2, 3, 5, 6, 8 to go in numerical order.
Maybe 5-pin for Joseph here?
5 or even 2 being outside Suji, yeah. And now seeing the 8 for sure, if you need to throw something else, you can throw the 2.
Yeah, Joseph really needs to draw a SoTile connector because it's really challenging to cut the 4 so in for Tenpai. Well, that's not the Tenpai you want. Could go 1-mon, 2-mon. No, takes it but Dama.
Yeah, just Damas.
I would absolutely chi 4-mon. Oh, we can't chi 4-mon. Oh, we'll take the Ricci, and as expected, that big hand is going to win. Such a monster weight.
Yeah, 5-sided weights are no joke. Bless you.
All right, we'll shift over into the South rounds.
Ken, with the second dealership here, starts with a pair of the Chun in his hand, as well as a copy of the Dora. Has one other Mensu shape completed, and then three pairs, again, with Chun being one of them. So super can be a super fast hand here.
봄,
Expecting Pong, we see Pong.
Yep, immediate.
Now, if we see 609, so we could Chi and end up Dora Tonki. I guess you take it because what else is there to do?
Yeah, absolutely. Super fast hand with potential to upgrade into more value on the Dora. Yeah, absolutely.
And you have the right Ishantan, but the value routes are a couple tiles away from Tenpai. Across the table, Kana is looking at a relatively strong height by 8-pin, could probably come out, 2-pin, 5-pin maybe in the future, but passing perhaps the Green Dragon. We'll see if the last one comes out. On the left, Joseph pulls in the north pair, so that is Yakuhai.
Kana holding on to the Tuso, hoping maybe to pick up another one for Dora.
리치,
Insta reach. And he does not wait. Or a better wait. Says, I like this Dora. Ooh, and that's a fantastic connector. So Ken can drop the 8, so it's a little safer. It goes with the 6 directly.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they were looking at, hey, he discarded 9, so Suji with the 6, but 8 definitely safer to me.
2 so 5, so slightly stronger weight here for Ken. However, all the 2 so are held now, so only the 4 or 5 so are left in the wall.
Yeah, we don't see a single 5 so yet.
Oh, as we say, comes out.
Just will it into existence, but it's going to complete a shape for Joseph, so maybe not this quick.
Oh, Joseph could actually be Tenpai here. Oh, but there's the 3 so.
There is no better feeling in the world than to sumo on the doorway.
Maybe Tetsumo on the doorway and then Hiruda.
And then hit him, yeah, nice little casual moment.
Fantastic from Andy. So we'll take the lead here. And the dealership, South 2.
Not a whole lot going on so far for Andy here with the starting high pie, but we'll see what the first couple of pickups are. To the left with Ken, he's already got a pair of his Yakuhai with the Northwind. And no copies of the Dora, the 5-mon. Or excuse me, one is across the way in Joseph's hand.
I think Ken might have a little bit of trouble here because Kana as well holding a pair of the North.
Yeah.
We'll see if one of them gives up. Kana might end up just going Chitoi with these current shapes. They're not very strong for a standard hand.
Yeah, Chitoi is always a difficult call, especially when you don't have either one door or 2 door already as one of your pairs, or trying to form a pair. And as you move into South, trying to take the lead, value of Chitoi is hard to justify sometimes, but we'll see what comes out.
7 so interesting. Lose. Yeah, 3 so for now. Still hedging everything. Yeah, the 3-mon draw is going to be interesting because that gives you the pick pull, but instead it's another pair.
Yeah, looks like that Kana is definitely making a determination to shift towards Chitoi here, even without a lot of value. It's a nice both offensive and defensive hand at the same time.
Yeah, again, that 3-mon draw is the one that I'm really curious about. What would you do if you drew the 3-mon?
Oh boy.
You could cut a pair, like North pair or 3-pin pair. You could cut the 2-mon, 1-mon.
Yeah.
You could just say, I'm continuing to play for Chitoy. Maybe hedge with something like a 5-so or 8-so. There's just so many options.
Yeah, only one 3-mon out so far, and that's in our dealer's hand here with 80.
each,
That is going to be 10 by though. Yep.
Not the best weight, not a Kanchan that's been cut twice already is a little weak. However, it's hard to see that shape improving without discarding the Dora.
each,
Perhaps the best draw would have been drawing the 7-mon, and then you get Pihu and Sanchoku chance. But we see a chase from Ken. It also a Chitoy.
Chitoy, yes.
Waiting on the Suji Tuso.
Yeah, one out already with 5-so twice cut. Looks very safe for potential future discards.
It's just amusing to me that both the players with the North pair ended up going for Chitoy.
There's back-to-back 3-mons coming out, so it looks like Kana will not be picking that up.
Yeah, it can be tough to defend against two Richis. However, they can't control what they drop, so you're hoping that they
Right.
give enough information that you can then escape successfully.
sumo,
Wow. Joseph just pulls the last 6-mon out of the wall. This is how you get a 32% win rate, folks.
Oh wait, so who needs her? Yeah, they're not that bad.
Just draw them.
Yep, just
pluck
draw it.
them out of the wall and collect your points.
Will it into existence, folks.
Hanna now in second place. Second chance at the dealer's seat.
We're in South 3, and everybody is within a Mongon score of each other. So this is a very close game still.
Absolutely. Door 6-0. I see one to the right, one across the
Home.
table, one to the left. Dealer not holding any. And Joseph will open on the right. So is this a value play, or is he just moving to his dealership?
Yeah, I think this is just the move into the dealership here. It's, hey, I'm at 25,000. This can give me a little bit of a bonus with Hatsudora, depending on what the other players do. And then I've got my chance as the dealer.
Yeah, we'll see. If he draws more Sozu before getting to Tempai, could make the shift into a flush for the Mongon.
Indeed.
Kana's hand as the dealer really, really, really slow. Has already cut 4 different terminals and honors, 5 now, and the hand still has a bunch more to go.
Yeah, and it's terrible to see this when you're in your last dealership this close to the end of the game, because what do you call? You can't call anything here.
Absolutely. Joseph cutting away the 1-so means that he's not going to be greedy here. If he was trying to be a little bit greedy, could have gone 4-pin, 4-pin instead, because he already has the 9-so pair. But we'll just play the stronger shapes.
Okay, so now Kana's had a decent draw set here, and maybe could shift into calling to open up for a 1-2-3 Sanshoku. Still headless though.
Right. It's tough. Well, there's a 2-mon, so that's a start. Joseph has found the Tempai, though. Could switch weight to 8-so, and that could allow him to use another Dora in the future, should he draw it. We'll just stick with the Shabo. It's certainly improvable, this weight, because we can draw a 3-pin or 5-pin and get a stronger weight.
Yeah, 3-so's not what we're looking for. Already once cut. Like Joseph throws it right back up. Okay, so there's a head for Kana. It discards the 6-mon.
Yeah, so as you were saying, this gives us a chance to call for the 1-2-3 Sanchoku. In order for that to happen, Andy would need to start dropping these 3 pins.
Yeah. Most likely not going to happen.
Andy might be the only player with a chance to win at this point. 9-so's still in the wall.
Yeah, I was going to say 2 9-sos still remain to be seen.
And a 4-pin even.
Yep, and a 4.
I was thinking most, in fact, every player will hold the 4 pin if it's drawn. But the 9 so could come out.
Chi.
And he,
Okay, so yeah, I got a cheese.
ooh, nice 1-2 pin. At this point, Kana is not playing for the Sancho anymore. This is just, well, please let me stay Tenpai, or get to Tenpai. And he improves the weight from the 4 Mon now
Ich.
to 6-9 Mon and will slam.
Yeah, I'm saying only 2 weights left though for the 6-9 mon, so we'll see.
Tough here. I guess 8's probably a little safer than the 5. And Joseph,
Yeah.
pretty inclined to fight here for 3,000 points. That would be a big win.
Yeah, those extra reach of 6 are going to help. Yeah, absolutely.
Chi.
Chi, not Tenpai yet, still Ishanten, but Kana's trying to get there. Still a couple more draws to find it.
West won't do it.
How have we not seen a 9 so?
Call him the dead wall, you know? Yeah, and to go this long into a hand without seeing one of the, first, usually a tile that's generally discarded first, yeah, it's definitely scary.
Joseph was Tenpai with 3 tiles in the wall. Way back at that 3-so, first 3-so cut. Oh, Tenpai for Kana can drop the 5 pin safely.
And yeah,
Finds it.
smart, very smart. Yeah, love it.
3 players Tenpai.
Last second Tenpai. All right, so that'll put us at Ipomba. So with 1 Ricci stick left over, so an extra 1,300 points on the table here. And Kana opening with a pair of the Chun in the hand, which is the Dora, by the way.
So I see the plan. Now, in these spots, the question that always pops up in my head is, do we call any of our bad shapes before we get the door? Do we go Atosge? Like 2 Mon Chi, 3 Pin Chi? Is that something we're willing to do and risk not being able to win the hand by any other means than getting the Dora?
Yeah, depending on who you ask, you could ask 100 players that and get, well, I guess not 100 different answers because there's really 2 routes there, but it's different for everybody that you ask. Yeah.
Yeah, and the range of situations where someone will be willing to call will also vary. There's a score difference, but Dora comes out early, and that opens up all the calling options now. An abundance of good discards to make. 3 Mon, 8 so, strong considerations.
Yeah, I have a good friend who calls this they say it has to be 3 Dora, but once you pawn the 3 Dora of the Yakuhai, you are now at the all-you-can-eat calling buffet.
I love that. It is kind of, we'll be hoping for buffet of tiles, especially with all the pawn options. You can call from anybody.
So many options here. 1 Mon, 9 so, 2 pin, 3 6 pin, 1 4 so, lots of options.
There's just too many options at this point. Maybe 2 pin here. Okay, starts with the 5 pin. It does create Suji, and so if players are concerned about the potentially advanced state of this hand, they might trust something like Suji. Another pair. We don't want pairs.
You don't want pairs. And after a Yakuhai call, that's the Dora. Yeah, you never want to see this. Stop giving me pairs. There we go. So what will they throw here? 1 Mon. Okay.
I kind of like 5 pin there. It keeps the pawn options open. Actually, I think I preferred cutting the 2 pin earlier so that we'd have 4 5 5 now, but this is good too. 1 Mon, leaving Diamond and a pawn. Maybe this is also a little bit of caution because the hand on the left is a flush, and so it's a little risky to cut pin tiles into that.
Yeah, and across the way, Andy, everybody open now, but Andy had also with 2 pawns up himself with just holding the Haku, and now Tenpai with a Ryan. So that'll be 5 6 8 so.
All the 8 so have been discarded, but we really want the 6 so because that gives Toy Yaku as well. Oh, finds the 5 so. Shuts down the threat. Both threats, honestly.
Yeah, and if I'm Ken there, I'm kind of breathing a sigh of relief. Being in last place got a little bit of value to push me up into third now, and now we go into all last with Joseph as the dealer.
And
And
Joseph needs to find something. This is not a bad start.
not a bad start at all. No. Two completed Mensus and a pair of a Yaku High. We will take it.
Hand's even strong enough to potentially pass up the Chun Pon. I think I would still take it here for 2,900 to get out of last.
Yes, absolutely.
Boom.
And thinking, yep, but goes and makes the call.
Gave it some thought. I respect it.
Yep, absolutely. And I mean, an immediate 10-5 for not the best weight, but two of the fives already taken up by Kana to the left, but has now 4-6-8 shape. So we'll see what happens.
Could cut the
There's
4
the-
mon, expecting the 7 mon to come out more easily, or cut the 8 mon, expecting that you can improve on the lower side. Say you draw 3 mon. He's also
and not going to.
just thinking about if the 8 pin comes out, would you pull?
No.
What are
Because then it's a tough call because if you pawn the 8 pin, then it's okay. Now I need the head on either the 4 mon or the 6 mon, and neither of those tiles, despite us being able to see everybody's hands, neither of those tiles are just tiles that people want to throw out early on. So you're going for a fast 10 pie, but you're kind of hedging on like, hey, I hope I sumo this Tonki weight.
Yeah. Now the
I don't know.
benefit of calling though is that you can switch that Tonki weight really easily to whatever you want. It could be a random honor tile. It could be, say, another Dora to get 3-3-4-5 shape. Maybe it's a little bit of regret about not choosing the 7 is a couple of those tiles have come out. There's a 5. We'll get to see if Andy uses it. He cannot.
Ooh. We'll take the 2,900, like you said, and that will put us into dealer Rinchan. And it bumps up Joseph into third place to overtake Ken. So now Ken down in last place with 27,100. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tournament shapes.
Ken has come back from the deficit before the last round itself. See if he has one more in him. Gap's not that
7.
large, so it's definitely doable.
Oh yeah, again, still a close game all around the table. And these are like where the situation like we were just talking about is like it's tense. Everybody's feeling the pressure. It's like wow, we are all so close that anybody who deals in with any kind of hand could potentially switch out the standings of the final standings, I should say, of the game.
Right, you win a relatively small hand, you could get first. You deal into a relatively small hand, you could get last. It's the push pull here is really tough.
And at this point, yeah, if I'm Joseph, just looking at his draw there, it's like I've got a pair of the North and I've got a lot of Manzu here. I may want to shift to Honitsu to try to, again, maybe go for a quick dealership if I continue to draw them.
Yeah, there
shapes
might be much better, as you're saying, with the shapes. They're a little awkward, right? Kanchan, Penchan, Penchan.
Okay, yeah, maybe not. There was the East instead.
East twice cut, so you're not sacrificing too much. South also twice cut now, so wouldn't lose too much to drop that. Uh-oh.
Going for pure. Oh boy.
That's a bunch of pairs. You could just cut 7 mon here. It doesn't have to be a pair's hand.
Sure enough, you read their mind. 7 mon comes out. Pair of the 8s picked up for Kana there. Also, oh no, I'm sorry, that's a Metsun 2, 3, 4, so 6, 6. Yeah, so 2 pairs now.
Wow, pairs coming into Andy's hand as well. He says no, rejects the Chitoy. That 4 mon is actually an interesting cheat. I don't mind calling that as Joseph to play for the Itsu. Maybe not the full half flush, but just the straight 1 through 9.
3 coming out right after on the next turn, you're like, oh, I wish I had called that, bud.
7
Although if we called it, we wouldn't have seen the 3, so maybe this is the best path.
Oh, yeah, that's fair too. Yep.
We'll see. Yet to be determined. That's another Mon tile, so do we go back to the Sozu cuts? You start with 1 Mon and hedge everything. No, gonna commit.
Commits to the.
Ken as well, opening up. It looks like a Tanya, but really it's just Hatsu. Wait, Hatsu's twice cut. I didn't notice that, so it has to be Tanya.
Interesting.
Kana as well, calling open for Chinitsu. Paul Ishanten now for Joseph. If he recognizes the So hand on the left, he can easily get a Tempai because Kana will drop all the Manzu.
Yeah, 2 rows of full discards with no Sozu. Cheese a 7, 8, 9. I'm thinking, and now with the pawn on the yeah, absolutely.
Paul, it's Tempai.
1 Tenpai on the 7.
Just a half flush, just 2 Han. But that's a big 2 Han here for Joseph. 1 7-1 discarded. 1 7-1 held by Andy, who says, I see what you're doing. I'm not dropping any of these dangerous Mon tiles for the rest of the game. Ken now a little bit trapped here. It's hard for him to drop a So tile. It's also hard for him to drop a Mon tile. So just goes ahead and cuts the Green Dragon pair.
Sumo's the 7. Bro, it's going to be 1,000 for everybody plus the home, but yeah. That will push them into first, yeah. So, but again, Gariyame's off, so we will play one more round with now Mihomba.
Yeah, this is crazy close, and Joseph not done yet. Could consider another flush here. Actually, it's not even that bad.
I was going to say, you got flush, or even better, I like the Itsu potential here. You got 1, 2, 3 already, and then you're just waiting on a 6 and a 7.
Okay, hang on a second. We've got 2 1s and 2 9s, and you know what that means?
Yep.
Always consider Chuda here.
Yep.
And unfortunately, Ken is trying to kill that before we get off the ground here, cutting a 1 and 9 pin right from the get-go.
Yeah, quick call with the West. Looks like maybe trying to do a honors with the Honitsu and the Sozu. Yeah, picks up a pair of the North. So just looking to call that Hatsu. And there is one in Kana's hand, and it is discarded, immediately pawned.
And this is huge. This is a Hanuman class hand.
Yeah.
Potentially. If we get the North triplet, that's the Dora.
And I'm still so excited just to watch Joseph's hand here as well. I know 1 and 9 have come out already, but
no. Surely not. Surely not. Surely not.
They're thinking so hard. They're like, what's my score? 26,000. Okay, Hanuman, 12,000 points. Oh.
Don't need to think. Just go for Hanuman.
Yep.
And here's the thing. To get first place, he only needs Mongon. He can switch this Tonki to whatever he wants. He has Hatsudora 3.
Yeah.
He could switch to a pin weight, to a Mon tile, everything.
Immediately throws the 3 back because he has already cut it.
There's 1 Semitsu on the wall.
Yeah, just 1 tile negating for the 7, so.
2 Mon. What a disgusting weight that would be.
Yeah, I was just saying,
switches.
He switches. He's only once cut. Yeah.
Now here's the deal. Oh, it comes out.
Immediate.
What is the question? What It's not Honitsu? The answer is yes. Ken played his condition perfectly. I can think of a few people who also have the ability to always correct this, select the correct Tonki, and that was a legendary swap from Ken, jumping into first place, 19.6. What a hand. Joseph ekes out a second place. Remember, for a large portion of this game, he was worried about getting last, but had a nice dealer run to jump into the lead temporarily before Ken took over. Kana maintains a positive score here in third place, 0.4. And Andy, the surprise deal in. Who would expect it? A 2-mon with all those so tiles.
Yeah, he's absolutely thinking, yeah, you're greeting for the Honitsu. And to your point, it's such a smart read to just say, I only need a Mangan here. I don't need to greed. Well played. Well played. Good game. Close the entire way through.
That's exactly what we want to see. And we will update the standings. Joseph continues to climb, 155.6 in the standings. Strong performance. All right, I'm going to take a look at our calendar to see if, let's see, at this hour, we'll have new games popping up. Looks like we will in about 7 minutes at the half hour. But I was also expecting to see another game. Perhaps we can check the game results that have come in so far today. There have been a number of games played already, and of course, we always have multiple Wednesday games happening at the same time. So let's skim through the results that have come in and see what has happened over the course of this evening. Tonight's matches started actually earlier in the evening with an A2 series. It's Korak Arthur taking over the first place in game one. Andrew with the second place, JT third, and Michael with the fourth. Relatively close game all the way through. And I believe that series is playing all four today, as that we've seen a couple more results come in. Another Korak win in the second game of the series. And it looks like in the third game, JT took a big first, plus 33.7, Michael plus 8.6. And the fourth game finished as well just now, plus 32.8, a third Korak victory, and a nice second place from Andrew, plus 20.6 for him. So A2 standings will have updated dramatically, and things are getting really spicy in the A2 division. In fact, let's take a quick peek at the scores. And this is the only other table, I think, to have finished a game while we've been watching our own. Korak with those 3 victories, hopping into 5th place overall in the division, skyrocketing into the promotion zone even. Tucker Kayla still up at the top. Senhao has had a great series recently. 7 first places is an incredible number. And Garrick, the other player in the promotion zone for the time being. Wow.
Yeah, still, wow. I was going to say all top 5 of them still all very close within each other, and with half the season to play still, anything could happen.
400 in 120 minutes is blazing fast.
I was going to say, I'm just reading the chat and I saw that, yeah, someone, wow. Speed Mahjong. I myself was victim to one of the longest games just the other night. We went for 120 minutes.
In one game? They finished an entire series in the same time.
Yep. 23 hands, I think. At one point, we had like 7 Rinchan. It was crazy.
I am seeing that there was another C1 table that was actually playing while we were watching our own, with Caleb grabbing a monster first place, plus 51.7. Finished with just under 70,000 points in that game. Annalise taking the second place. And I think they're actually in the middle of a game right now. So perhaps while we are waiting for the new series to pop up, we can hop into that one already in progress.
Yep. So, folks, we'll take just a minute here to switch over, and we will be right back with more Mahjong.
All right. Hopping into this second C1B table already in progress, we have our current dealer, Raymond. On the right, Kira. Across the table, Caleb. And on the left, Annalise.
South 2, so we're nearing the end here, but look at this, another incredibly close game.
Yeah, this is exactly what we saw in the last one as well. Looks like Raymond, holding on to this dealership a bit, has just won a hand, holding a Honba, retaining a dealership. In terms of speed, it looks like Kira's a little bit out there, ahead of the rest of the table with a Haku call. Also holding a floating Dora 7 mod. We'll see if she gets to use that. And with that 6-mon draw, absolutely. Raymond, not the easiest choice here. You can 9-so and hedge both the 4-6 H-shape and the 2-4-6, and that's what he chooses here. Nice nice choice. Ishan then on the right for Kira as the 2-mon becomes a triplet.
Does pick up to fill that shape, so I can start working on the Pinzu with that 6-7-8 Metsu completed for Raymond.
Interesting hand across the table for Caleb. I'm seeing 2 Dora, so that incentivizes me to call, but also there were temporarily 4 pairs, and so that also has some thoughts. I do like the Chi here.
You like the Chi here as well. Yep.
It's our worst shape in the hand, and we have a clear path forward for 3 Han, which is a pretty good total. Oh, and of course, the draw would have been the 4-mon. Natural.
But why draw when you can just call?
I always feel like I need to be proactive in my games, and so I open up, and then I see that I would have drawn it myself, and I think that's why players have a higher win average than me. They just draw it themselves. I just don't trust that I'll draw it myself. We do see Chi on the right from Kira 5-8 mon.
So saying that's going to be Tenpai here on the 5-8 mon, and then I think the 4-7. So yeah, right across the way there with Caleb.
Not with a Yaku though. I wonder if the plan here is to draw the 3-so back and then go for a Sanchoku, or if the plan is to draw a 6-pin and aim for a Tanyao.
Each.
I think it would have been okay to also just cut the 7-pin and 9-pin and continue playing for the Tanyao. But now our Rigi comes out from the dealer.
5-pin. Oh.
Oh, that's 2,000 points going back to Kira with change as well.
Yeah, and pull is her right to the dealership. So there's no better feeling. Hey, I just won an easy 2,000 points, and now it's my turn to play.
Oh, and I open up with a pair of the Dora Yakuhai.
Always happy to see that. And nobody else with any of the Haku currently at the moment.
It's a good sign. If you can draw your Yakuhai triplet closed, then you're at just like this. You're at a significant advantage because then you can make all the strange calls you want, and people will think, oh, they've got a pair. They need, they need the last Haku. As long as I don't drop the Haku, I'm fine. And you're just sitting there with everything you need already.
Yeah, and I swear you are psychic or you've willed it into every player's existence. Any tile you said they've needed, they have picked up.
That's the secret. Is you just assume the most optimistic thing will happen, and then when it does, you can call it out and pretend that
That's right.
But as noted, it's the all-you-can-eat call buffet.
That's right. Now we are in the all-you-can-eat call buffet. Whatever Kira needs to get to Tenpai, they will take.
Trying to find a hand that can compete against this. Raymond on the left is doing okay. Caleb on the right is also doing okay. But Kira's made another step of progress with a triplet of 5 mods. Now there's an incredible amount of flexibility in terms of what your pair can be. Could be the 5 mon, and then you're left with the 4 or 5 mon sequence, or you could pair up any one of these other shapes, especially one of the weak shapes like 8-9 mon or 1-3 so.
G.
Yep. She does come out throwing 3-so.
Yeah, between the 3-so versus the 8-9 mon, it's kind of close because the number of 5 mon that you're holding in your own hand makes it a little hard for players to use the 7 mon. But the 1-3-so is much more provable, and the 2-so looks like a better tile to wait on.
Yeah, and across the way, that will be Annalise, I believe, who will be in Tenpai, and so declares Ricci waiting on the 3-6. So, excuse me, 3-6 pin. 3-6 pin.
Ricci Pinshu strong for her. And another 5 mon. Kira's holding them all. Could she for Tenpai and choose a Tonki or choose the 7 mon? We'll choose the Tonki 9 mon. Now, that's twice cut, not many live, but the 8 mon was a save tile. And she can easily switch this 9 to something else.
Right.
3-so shooty 10. Three pin deals in. Okay, switches to 3 pin, mostly because it's just not shooty 10.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say in this case, it's just I want to get out of furry.
But that is strong play. The 7 still looks more dangerous than the 3 pin.
Yeah.
Dum.
But throws 3 pin anyway, and will deal into Annalise across the way for Ricci Pinfu. No earth.
Yeah, that was a very natural discard. It's just unfortunate that even with all the 2 pins out, 3 pin still deals in the more natural shape, 3-6 pin shape. So no dealer 12k, unfortunately for Kira. However, the game remains close going into all last.
Caleb here, I believe, yes, already having a pair up the seat wind, so make a quick call. Discards to the north and is immediately picked up across the way by Raymond. It goes 3-4-5 minutes to shape.
Yeah, actually, is Raymond going for a flush?
I would assume there have to be. I don't see much else that they could potentially build out of this by calling a triplet of a win that's not their seat wind.
Is it the Ato Atosuke play? We just assume we'll pair up one of these dragon tiles and then we'll get Aryaku. I think typically when I see players make calls like this, it's actually a toy, a faraway toy. But with so little options, it could just be all of them. If I draw the dragon pair first, then it will be Yakuhai. If I draw the Monzu, it'll be a flush. If I draw more pairs of anything, it'll be a toy.
Yeah. And holding at least one door in the hand now can at least have a 2 mon minimum. So they go the Yakuhai. Deal will chi, that 8.
Floating a headless, or not a headless brother, a Kutsuki. Sticky went away. Caleb just needs to stick something onto the 2 mon or the 5 so. Now stick something to the 5 pin or the 5 so. You're good.
Yep.
Well, that
could shift, yeah, for the 5 and 6. So
it's not the greatest shape, but it attaches the door, so that's pretty good. Incidentally, on the left, Kira, an insanely wide shape, will hit Tenpai. Has a couple different choices. 3-so is the most natural cut here. Now this gets a little awkward for Caleb, who's a bit open here, so tough to fold from this spot. Might just have to push. 3 pin looks like a terrible tile, though. Can't do anything but push, though, and it goes through.
Yeah, in second place, all last.
4 pin's relatively safe. Oh, it's just
fine.
It's Genbutsu.
Genbutsu now. Another 4 pin. Oh, look at these draws and discards from Caleb. Oof.
Apparently the secret was to wait in the Pinzu.
Yeah.
Raymond across the table, also in a rough spot. There are 2 6-0 in the wall. And for 3 6-mon, I believe there are 2 6-mon. That is another bad tile. And now Caleb has a way out. Like, all these pin tiles should be safe. So the question is, does he want to fight for this hand, or is he content where he is? And he'll fight.
He'll fight. Nope.
Template on the right for Annalise.
つも
More Tonki
Say
Buck.
Oh.
6-mon Sumo.
Yep.
Sumodora is going to make things so close. But it will be Annalise taking it in the end. Caleb just barely dipping below 30k by 100 points. We'll get a minus 0.1. Respectable second. Kira only 200 points behind as well. Behind Caleb, takes the minus 5.3. We're in with a minus 17.3. That might be the smallest fourth place that I've seen this season.
So yeah, quite the small margin of the loss of points there.
All right, well, we did get that game that started at the half hour right on time, so we can hop immediately into the B1 table. Let's take one final look at the C1 standings before we head off. Caleb maintains a strong position here in the positives. And taking a peek at the players in this B1 table, I am recognizing some familiar names. Take me a moment to pop those in, but while we do, let's just hop right into the game, get to the action as soon as possible.
All right, so while the FanDuel's updating, yeah, so we are in East 2. This will be for a B1 table here with our current dealer. It looks to be
I want to say that's Mark.
Mark.
I just don't know which Mark. Oh, I got the right Mark. Excellent.
That will be Mark K. It makes an immediate call to go in for a quick Tanya hand, but if we look to our left, we have a pair of the Hots. We're now picking up a pair of each of the dragons,
Oh, but
which can confirm
the tune is dead.
twice cut already. Man, playing catch up here. Yeah, as we jump into the table. Unfortunately, Sho Sangen's the best we could do here,
Sangen's pretty good.
which is still good. Not to make it sound like it's a bad. Yeah.
And I wonder if there's a flush that can come with this. Like, if our plan is to call Haku and Hatsu, we might as well cut 6-mon, 7-mon, right?
One pin twice cut. But pick it up yourself.
All right, let's go.
リーチ
Richie on the right from Anya. Richie Tanyao, waiting 4-pin, 5-pin. Strong weight. Seven Suji, safe enough.
Safe enough, yep.
Wow. Caden drawing another one of Anya's needed winners.
つも
Oh, but Anya will pick up the one she needs herself.
The Simultaneo and no error there for a nice 330, 1,000, 2,000.
Okay, so looks like Mark got off to an early lead. Maybe a Mungan Sumo. With the fact that everyone's a little bit down in points. Anya recovering those points back, though. Now with the dealership here in East 3. And she's got an okay high buy. It's got a Dora. Richie Dora as dealer is pretty strong, even if the weight in the future isn't that amazing. And the ability to improve these shapes, certainly.
So 1, 2, 3, 3 pairs across the way. In Donald's hand, 4-pin, we'll throw it out. 2-mon being the Dora.
I wonder how greedy Donald is going to get here. Don's got maybe Itsu, maybe... Yeah, going to cut the 1-mon. Not going for any type of flush or Yakuman.
Yeah, cheating a 7-mon that comes out, and then excuse me, on a 6-9 weight, not a bad weight. With Dora.
A lot of pairs and triplets in the hand of the left for Mark. Could potentially be Sononko. We'll see if it can become anything more.
リーチ
Well, picks up the better weight, and will now just be holding out for the 7, of which all 4 are currently accounted for.
Yeah, so Don probably not going to win this hand unless something dramatic happens. Oh, what?
ドン
That's the drama. Richi, Patsu, Itsu, Dora. Uda would be Hane. Does not come out. Well, Don found a way. Just slammed the Richi.
This is the
And-
action you're here, folks.
And I think for Mark, there are a couple different options. Nothing was like amazing, but when you've got nothing amazing, maybe it's okay to drop one of your triplets. And the choice, I thought we were gonna see the 9 so come out before the 7 mod. That would have been 3 safe tiles before we had to worry about the 7. But instead, the choice was the 7, maybe because of the 9 mod Ricci itself.
Which puts us into East 4 now. And completing his second Minsu with a pair in the hand already, we have Caden as the dealer, looking for just a Ricci Penfu as dealer here. Not a bad start. Pairs up again with a 6 so, now has options, discards the East.
Yeah, big plan to draw around this 7 mod. On the lower side, they could get the 6 mod, so that we could potentially get Tanyao and Pinshu at the same time, cutting the north pair.
West being the door, and looks like already, all 4 are already out. All came out in the first row. So, yeah.
All right, so we're going to do this with Yaku alone.
Yep, Yaku alone. You know, a lot of people will talk about that too, you know, playing in ARML, because ARML has chosen not to do the popular red 5 option. So really, you're really dependent on just whatever the door they give you, and then really being able to build value around the Yaku that you can create in your hand and what you're given to your inner high buy.
Yeah, that means that in the league, it's being able to incorporate extra Yaku while still playing efficiently is at a premium. We do have a Tempai across the table for Mark. It's not fantastic. Tough to decide what to do here, though.
リーチ
We'll hold the Dama, and now Ricci comes out from Anya. Ricci, Pinshu, potentially Tanya as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, will be Takami on the 4, of which we see 2 currently being held.
Don also holds the
Yeet.
Tempai Yakuhai, waiting 369, and chase from
スモ
dealer, but Don will shut it down with the relatively inexpensive hand, the Ricci sticks that he collects, worth more than the hand itself.
One's only worth 1,000, but I'll take the 2,000 extra points.
Yeah, I will say, Caden's had a bit of a rough season this time around. It seems like that's been the story from all the time. You slam a Ricci, and the worst outcome happens. In this case, it wasn't the worst outcome. Don sumoing is relatively tame, but
Still disheartening to see sometimes. Yeah, I
Yeah.
get you.
well, Don now brings us over into the South round, South 1.
Picks up the Dora, 6 so, nice little shape here. Has options now on what to first discard. Elects to discard the 1 so.
Yeah, the hand's got too many blocks, so it also has too many bad blocks. Maybe the 1-2 so is just the weakest out of all of these. If you're trying to hedge 6 blocks, you can hold a pair, like the 9 mon pair and cut the 8 mon, but I do like the 1-2 so personally. On the right, Mark with the backbone of an Itsu. Probably not going to get there yet, just because the knife and now. I like holding out the thought for a while, and then giving up when it becomes apparent that we just have too many blocks to make it happen.
Nice 1 so pick up for Mark on the right.
We'll bring
9
Itsu
so.
1 away from Tempai.
Yep.
And Don gets his door connector. Also 1 away.
Also 1 away. 1 mon probably coming back out. Yep.
Oh, interesting choice here. With 2 pairs, you can just cut the 6 pin. 1
Sure
0.
does.
Yeah, 6-pin, a little bit more efficient, perhaps.
Changes the 5-6-7 to the 4-5-6 for Caden.
Better shape
And
for
that's an
Don.
improvement. Yep.
Ha.
1
That was
Interesting.
the Peiko draw, but we're going to see the slam. 8-mon coming out a turn too early, so Mark will need another one. Only 2 tiles now. 1 tile left in the wall for this weight. Caden's Tempai
Yeah.
probably forced to just slam here. With 2 Dora.
With 2 Dora in your hand, you can feel pretty confident that you've got potentially the best hand at the table. I would.
Okay, the problem is the 9-so is dead, and the 6-so is once cut. So there's only 1 tile left for the Shabo. Could have discarded the 6-so and taken the Concha Dora Indicator, but that almost feels worse. So instead just chooses the 9-so, 9-so, and try to find Tempai later. We're going to see a Don Chase, though. Richi Pinshu waiting on 3-6-mon, with a Dora as well. Late Richi only has 1 draw left of his own.
Won't be it, and that's going to put us to Ryukyoku. Yeah.
All right, spicy stuff there at the end. Only 2 players Tempai, though. We'll get a repeat. 2 Richi sticks and a Homba here, and South 1 repeat 1.
South 1, repeat 1, dealer, high pie, no Dora in hand on the 4-pin. And like you were just saying, with 2 Richi sticks and a home on the table, 2,300 extra points. It's like, how can I make this just a fast hand?
And unfortunately, Don not callable.
Not callable. Nope. When you look at first place being only 3,600 points ahead of you, it's like, oh man, this could easily close the gap. So we'll just have to play efficient.
Don, considering the Itsu, it's just efficient to cut the 1-so, but the Itsu does give him a small chance to call. So he will just throw the 1-pin back. He really wants the 4-pin anyway. Wow, call. Caden Tempai.
Yeah, call. For what, Hatsunomi, it looks like?
Yeah, Hatsu.
Or potentially not. Yeah.
So, South and 1-mon both ones cut, but finds a 1-mon. The cheaper side, but the value was sitting in the middle of the table, so that's what's most important here.
That'll push us into South 2 now with Mark K as the dealer. Nice pickup on the 5-pin. Already has a pair of the Hots in the hand. Could open up if needed, but already has a complete shape. I would play this close just for a little bit and see what comes out, and then we can make decisions. Nope, was going to go ahead and open and wait for the Hatsu to come out.
Yeah, probably a slight miss there from Mark. This, of course, no Yaku, so cannot win even though it's Tempai. I think I do prefer staying closed. As you were saying, lots of good chances to declare Richi. Even if the Hatsu comes out, I like passing the first one just because Richi's going to be so strong and our hand was so efficient. And in the meantime, Caden across the table is pulling in honor tiles. Looks like it might be a so flush attempt here. Oh, west. So we could get really spicy. East is in the wall.
And see now, for Mark, he sees that, hey, look, a 6 and a 9 come out back to back. I've got no Yaku.
Hello,
Ooh.
Show Sushi.
We'll play this.
This could even be Dai Sushi. It's worth the same. Oh, no! Apparently, 9-so was the play for the Yakuban Tempai, but there's still time. Oh, come on, don't let that backfire cost us the highlight. We've had a lot of highlights this stream, but this would be a highlight to cap it off. How live are these tiles? One east cut, the wests are both in the wall.
Yeah.
Slight improvement. Now we can cheat 8-so. Okay, Mark gets a tempai that can win,
ドン
but it will be shut down. Anya with Tanyao Dora 1 removes the danger, shuts down the threat, and the Yakuman was not meant to be, even if he had chosen the 5-so Kanchan and got the fill, got the tempai. Those honor tiles just never came out.
Yeah. Moves us to South 3 with Anja now as the dealer, looking at a nice potential Tanyao, maybe Pinfu improvement. And with Dora being the 8-pin, none in hand, I'm seeing one across the way in Donald's hand, but no others.
Yeah, I'm pretty optimistic about this dealer hand. Definitely has some room for improvement. If we, as long as we get draws in the next sort of three pull-ins. The one mon is not what I want to see. Kaden on the right is doing quite well. Chun Uncle already. Ishan them. One away from Tempai. Strong tile acceptance as well.
ポン
ポン
Opens on the left. Anya follows.
Tanya follows, yep.
Just a Tanya, but when your goal is to repeat as dealer, matching speed here is super strong. Don faced with some tough choices now. Hand looks kind of like a Tanya, but he really wants to use the Dora, so he just cuts the extra pair and just says, I've got the shapes I need right now. Could even cut the Tumon here and hedge the chance at 6, 7, 8 Sanchoku. But instead, we'll just play for maximum efficiency.
ポン
Anja goes ahead and calls.
She's got an Ishantan now. And Anya will probably be able to get one more call off. Yep, Forso comes
Gee.
out.
Yep, sure. 5 on 2 held up, 2 on the wall.
In the meanwhile, Kaden has been Ishantan for a very long time. Finally hits Tempai. Slams that Ricci. 3-6-0.
6-0.
This is a...
Yeah, it's a tough spot. You only see one out, one cut so far, but
1
Pick actually only got one chance on each. Don will also declare Ricci. Waiting on the 4-7. And it's going to come out, and that will be Batsu, I believe. Yep. Ricci gets pinned through Tanya, Dora, and no Ura.
Yeah, tough spot for Anya to decide which way to choose. Goes with the Shabo, but does find the dealer tile, and that means that Kaden will be our final dealer here. South 4. Don the advantage. Mark across the table, chasing him down, and Mongon will do it. Let's see, that gap is 7,100 points. So yeah, we'll need the Mongon or a 50 Fu hand. The gap between 3rd and 4th here, 4,700 points. And so Anya has a little bit more flexibility. Wow, what is that?
ポン
Say, Anya.
A Fu full hand.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a Toy.
Oh, yeah. The 4th 9-pin's been called, so you're not going to con that to get yourself more door potential cheese.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that we can't con. Right now it's just Chanta Yakuhai with 40 Fu. So 2,600 points, which directly from Kaden would be enough. But I think Anya's hoping to call the Hatsu and then switch to 9 Montanki for an extra Han. And then Sumo will be enough.
That would be.
How about this con?
カン
This con, though. I stuck on there to a 1-so. Not what you wanted to. Well, no, it does have 1-so. So yeah, that's great.
All right, that's enough now. 16, 24. 26 is 30 is 50. So 3 Han 50. 6,400. Any Roan is good enough here. But Don is holding a triplet of the 7s.
Yeah, a tough sell at this point.
Of course, across the table, Mark has a lot of reason to fight here, and with a con, certainly pleased to slam a Ricci. Extra chances at Uda. Kaden will have a hard time doing anything else but just fighting in this spot as well.
Yeah, again, this is probably the toughest spot. Being like fourth, of course, is terrible, but when you're at this point in all
Each.
last third place, and it's like I've got to fight, and now you're seeing these calls, these extra Ura potentials. Your Toymon has just declared reach. He has potential now to get 2 Ura. It's like, oh man, oh, here we go. There's that Hatsu Anko pickup.
Anna switches the weight with a safe discard, not choosing the 9-mon Tonki. Holds on to the 7. Only 1 left in the wall, of course. She can't see that, though. That's a Tempai for Kaden on the 3-pin with Dama. Oh, and the last 7 drawn by Don. So Anya cannot win. Unless a miracle happens. There's the 9-mon. Still, 4-7 pin is not that live. And Don, who has last tile here? It's Kaden. So Don can con to give Anya Haite if he has something safe to discard. He might not have something safe here. Oh, 3-pin. The 3-pin that deals into Kaden.
Ooh, and Caden's happy to see that.
Absolutely. This gives him a chance at first place, a much needed first. And opens up Haku pair, Dora 2 as well. Perhaps a Chanta hand of his own, although doesn't really want to have to sacrifice a Dora here.
Right, fantastic to see that high pie. Super happy.
Once again, we'll petition the league. Tsuno,
Home.
add Kansai Chito as a legitimate Yako and head home. Thank you.
Goes ahead and pawns the Haku now. Now needs to find a way to utilize the 8-so as your pair with a completed 79 shape. Okay, picks up a 6-so.
Each.
Oh, this is just too fast from Don, though. Don not going to let this go so easily. 1-so west is a fantastic weight. And Mark just wants to get out of this. Does not want to touch this hand. 7-mon is Suji to the Ricci. So that makes it a little bit suspicious. Otherwise, he would probably just cut that. Plays the honors instead. And if we're talking about playing honors as safety, West deals in.
Yeah. Nobody expects the West.
The hand's kind of saying fight, but can you?
Again, third place, like you want that first, or at least second,
Kaden's going to find the safe route to Tempai here. 6-pin, 8-pin. With 2 Dora, Kaden doesn't want to give up this fight either. The wall wants Mark to play this hand.
Yeah.
Choice now. 3-pin, 2-pin. 9-so, 8-so seems too hard. So yeah, 3-pin, 2-pin. Could have also 9-pin, 9-pin taken a step back, but Anya draws that deadly west, but starts with 3-so, 3-so.
To say, it's only a matter of time.
Strangely enough, Anya is actually hoping that Kaden wins and gives him Tempai. Kaden drops the 9-pin, not taking the wider weight, but certainly the safer one, the one that waits on a Gembutsu tile, 7-so. Only one remains.
All...
If Bark isn't careful, he might deal in, though.
Yeah.
Oh, the West! And that's got to come out, certainly. It's Shompai.
Oh, there it is.
Richie only, and that will drop Caden below 30,000 points. A valiant comeback attempt, but falls short.
And again, nobody can fault him for that discard. It's absolutely the play you would make, and it's just unfortunate that somebody's waiting for it.
Indeed. It took a long time for those Wests to become visible. I'm sure Don was getting a little nervous. Where's my West? Maybe the player that's fighting for it is holding on to it. But that is actually game number 3 for them, so they'll have one more to go. And they're starting very soon. We'll be able to catch game number 2 shortly. I feel like that was a very fast-paced game in terms of time to discard. We certainly saw our fair share of repeats, but players were discarding quite confidently.
I was saying we jumped straight, I believe, into is this game 3 or game 4?
Game 4.
Let
me adjust that.
All good.
Somehow my overlay got messed up as well. Round 4, game 4. There we go.
We will start with Anya as the dealer here in East 1, looking at a nice potential. Looks like a Weechi Penfu hand. Across to our right, we will have Mark K, again, looking potentially Tanyao. Penfu, and then across with Caden, we've got a pair of the Haku and one copy of the Dora with a Anko of the 9, so already there, and picking up a 6, so is a great pickup. And then to our left, we have Don in the north seat here. Again, looks like another standard. You got a pair of the 9, so yeah, another standard reach potentially.
We see Caden getting the Haku pull, and so Flush already went away from Tempai. Gets Dora suit as well, has one of those in his hand, so a manga on Ishantem.
Be a fantastic start by the very first hand of the game.
Now, this Polna 5 mon means Mark's going to have a lot of work to do in order to shut this hand down, because the Tanyao is kind of tricky when you've got a 2-3 mon and a 7-8 mon. If you draw 1 mon or a 9 mon, your plan is kind of foiled, but at the very least, 1 mon has come out a few times already, so that's promising situation. It's unlikely that Mark will draw 1 mon.
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't call the 6.
Doesn't call the 6, though. Yeah.
A bit curious. Even discarding the 8-pin 6-pin. Is this maybe a toy?
Yeah, I was going to say with the Anko of the 5-pin, maybe looking to shift over. But now, with the pawn on the 2-so, we are in Tempai with Caden on the 4-7-so, which does come out, so that's going to be a nice Mangan to start the game.
Yeah, very, very cleanly played there by Caden. Wasn't making any secret about it, though. Called twice, discarded Honor Towel, discarded the Sozu Overflow, and that was good enough for Tempai. So about as efficient as you could possibly be. Mark will now have the dealership here. One Sodora, one's held. A lot of awkward tiles, but Yakuhai pair in the form of the Green Dragon. And that will be an immediate call.
Yeah, we got an immediate call by the Chunfall, an immediate call by the Hatsu. Now, nobody's holding a pair of the Haku, but we have one in 2 players' hands.
I'm not seeing a fantastic Ricci by any of these players. Of course, Anya opens up on the left for the Chun, so competing Yakuhai hands, Yakuhai Dora 1 hands.
Yeah, if Don picks up the 7-pin, he could reach you on the north 2-so weight. Excuse me, no, he still has the 7 there. Sorry, it wasn't looking very well.
You're right. 7-pin would be the ideal draw for the Ricci, but it's still just Ricci only.
Yeah.
Fantastic 3-so draw for Caden. That's what he really needed. Now we have Ricci Pinshu, Dora 1.
Chi. Reach.
Insta slam. And now it's kind of tricky for Mark to cut this Dora.
Yeah, if I'm here, like you said, the Dora is not coming out. I do not want to deal in. I just got dealt into a Mangan. I don't want to give anybody any extra value anymore.
Chi.
Maybe Chi 9-pin, 9-pin?
She's 5, 6, 7.
One mon is the risky route. We'll see. 7 so safe for now. So far has managed to dodge. As long as he doesn't make a connector to this 1 so, he'll be able to avoid the
Yeah.
deal-in. Anya has 4-pin and 2-pin Nakasuji, but goes with a Genbutsu 5 so 7, so doesn't want to risk too much here. Not for just, 1,000 to 2,000 points where you have to challenge a dangerous tile anyway.
Dong.
It's a connector, like you said, and throws out the door. Excuse me, for 3 mon to deal in.
Just 3,900 is certainly a better outcome than the previous hand, and Caden will take a lead going into his dealership. Now, he'll be able to maintain this moving forward. 4-pin Dora attached to by this 2-pin. Maybe this turns into a Tanya. Can filter away the 1 so, 9 so, Haku, and then East. Almost in that order. 9 so first, of course.
Yeah, 4 pairs already in the hand to Don to the right there with a pair of the Haku potentially to call for an easy Haku Hive hand.
Similarly, 4 pairs across the table for Anya as well, who is not afraid to go for a Chitoi hand. It also, though, can easily turn into some type of Pinshu, so no guarantees there.
On the left, there is potential for Sanshoku with a mark on the 3-4-5.
Yeah, we'll need to shift that so shape up, but definitely can get there. It is just Ishan 10 for Richi Pinshu anyway, so we'll see what comes first. Wow, second Dora, that's almost unwanted.
Richi.
Anya, first attempt by slams Richi Pinshu. 6-9 so the weight. Ooh,
Don
9
White.
so. Oh, this is so easy to drop from Mark. He's got all the value. I think I would just cut it. Plays the 5-mon, dodges.
Much. And it looks like Don on the right says, "Yep, I'm done. I'm gonna go ahead and."
Yeah, the hand's probably Chitoi at best, so makes sense. Wow, if Mark manages to dodge this, I'll be quite impressed. 6-mon is safer than the 5, I think. Yeah, out it comes. Now the 4-mon relatively safe as well. Still, it's easy to drop the 9, so at any point... Oh, 3 so's a nice find too. Can see 3 of the 4, so 4's the first cut. And yes, Anya finds the Tsumo.
1, 2, 3. Yes, it was the last 6, so very nice pickup.
And Mark looks at that and says, I'm a genius.
Dodged.
The wall is trying to get me to deal in this game. I figured this out, so all I have to do is just fold when other players are Tenpai.
Which puts us into East Forward Dawn, showing a couple of isolated terminals, but has a potential Itsu chance in the Penzu.
Yeah, this is tough because... Oh, no! It's so tempting to just cut 5-mon, 5-mon and play for the flush, but it's really inefficient to do that.
Boom.
Mark opens up maybe a flush attempt of his own as a value play. Still holding out for the Dora draw. Oh, and there it is.
Is Dora drop, and then with Hayden on the left with 2 of them themselves.
Caden is 2 away from Tenpai. 1,
Away.
2.
Hmm?
Okay, now these were the shapes that Don was anticipating when he cut those early honor tiles. Definitely seems like a better position than if he had forced the flush.
Absolutely.
Uh-oh.
ロン、
Yeah, Mark's just already Tempai somehow.
There's a super fast hand.
Just 2,000 points, and Don can't complain about that too much.
Yeah, that will push us into South 1 already, so already halfway through. Which
feel
brings us back. Go ahead.
So you feel a lot more sad if it's more than 2,000 points, but you can afford a little bit.
Yeah. So into South round with South as the Dora. Anya will be our dealer here. Picks up a copy of it, but other than that, has a completed Mensu shape, 345 Sozu, but everything else is broken up still.
Yeah, one of those hands where you take a look at the hand and then you close your eyes, drop all the tiles on the right side of your hand, and then at the end of row 1, you look at what you've got again, and you see if it's playable.
Or as a book might say, just play efficient.
Exactly.
But I like your method better. I'm going to try that sometime.
Yeah, you just have to be careful about the close your eyes part, and don't accidentally drop, your double tone that you pair up. Or oh, hello, 8 so. This hand's actually just Ishan done.
Now, I was going to say, he had a couple of great draws, one after the other, and that puts us already at Ishan's end.
Easy to cut 1-3 mod, or just play the Dora out. I kind of like reading the Dora in this
1、
spot, but we're going to see a Ricci from Mark. All right, coming into his own now. Ricci only waiting on the 8 so. Oh, and absolutely Don's going to fight here. No doubt about it with 2 Dora.
スモ、
Well,
Mark says, my Kanchan is better than your Kanchan.
that's right. Give me my 6,000 points.
That's going to make things kind of close here for 3rd place now. Only 900 points separating Mark and Don.
Mark is thrilled with that pickup. He got hit hard twice and now has had a back-to-back pickup here. So definitely within 5.
Needs to pull some Uda and then could fight for first. There's any round to pull some Uda on. It's definitely your dealership.
With a quick call on the seat wind here. Has a copy of the Dora, so looking at paid Dora at the moment. Completed Mensu of 678, another 67, and a 5, so another completed shape. So very quick and just Ishan 10 now.
At this point, it's going to be pay Dora too, because we're going to end up on Dora Tonki. What? Tempai?
What? Tempai? Yeah.
Okay, we're not calling this Tempai. What we're calling this is Dianpeiko Ishantan.
Oh boy.
Kaden looking for a strong weight or a strong value. 8mon, that's Suji Trap, but says no.
I was going to say, this game has had some of the fastest hands to Tempai within your first 4 or 5 draws each time. Ooh.
I wonder what... Yeah, Kaden draws the Dora. He just waits on the Dora. You could switch cutting the 8 so 9, 8 pin, 9 pin or something like that, cutting a pair.
Yeah, cheese the Tempai.
There it is, Dora Tonki Tempai and Dianpeiko Tempai. We're going to see a fight.
Oh no.
1、
Our good friend Ryan Peiko.
He's on his way. There are no tiles left for Anya. It's unlikely to see a Dora come out against this Ricci, especially with a 5 pin followed by late 3 pin. But at the same time, there's only one 7 pin in the wall, so not the live weight for Kaden either. And Mark's Tempai with Dora too. He'll just slam, I think.
I mean, 4th place,
Yeet.
South 2, your last dealership. Absolutely. I love to see this. I would have absolutely snapped immediately.
Yeah, I mean, oh, but the pawn gives the 7 pin to Anya, who has to drop it out with her value. And this will find the expensive Ricci, Dianpeiko, no Uda, but Mangan for Kaden crossing off that rare Yaku.
Ryan, it's good to see you, buddy. You don't show up too often, but we love to see you when you're here.
All right, someone ping Brett.
ポン、
Got a clip for you.
Interesting high pies here. We've got the dealer, Caden, immediately pawns the seat wind, and then the Toymon to the left there with Mark has a pair of the Haku and the Hatsu, with the Dora being the Tuso, and 1 copy in the hand as well. So fast hands yet again.
Pome Palace open for business. We see 3 in the early goings of this hand, and more to come soon. Anya's making rapid progress, but these open hands might be too fast. Kaden already. Ishanten. Sticky Ishanten needs a 3-so connector or a 5-mon connector.
Boom.
I would say going to probably go ahead and pawn you up. Sure, throws the 6-so.
Upgrade.
I was upgrade. Yep. No 4-6 Kanchan to 6-7 Myanmar.
3-so is a big fill for Don.
That is a big bill. Yeah.
Ishanten holds the safer 9-so. And
There's on
up
2
is
so.
Chi.
a good chi for Kaden. 5, 8, so. Ooh, yeah. Mark sees the Mongon. He's probably just going to stick with it. This is an interesting headless, but Don just sticks with what he's got. Remember, he kept the 9-so as a save tile. Now's the time to use the save tile, but...
Chi.
Okay, and so Cade says nope, throws out the 7-mon, and is immediately cheated by Don. Yeah. Mark throws the 8-pin, which is going to be picked up by Don for Tanya Aldora, and shut down the Mongon potential.
Yeah, in that spot, Kaden drew the tune. The threat of Dice Hongan was live, so couldn't really play it out there. And also, by holding the tune, that gave him a chance at Honitsu.
Yeah. Which means we are now in South 4, and Don will be our last dealer in this game. 2, 3, 4 Sanshoku potential, but already has the 1, 2, 3 Mensu completed in the Sozu.
Yeah, for that reason, it might be easier to get 1, 2, 3 Sanshoku.
Easier, just go 1, 2, 3, discard the 4-pin, yeah.
Definitely would prefer 2, 3, 4.
But great high nonetheless.
Absolutely. Now might even sacrifice the Dora.
Oh, yeah, I didn't check. Yeah, Dora being the South goes ahead and tosses it. Yep.
Mark is well on his way to Nagashi Mongon, although that is not an allowed Yaku in this league.
Sadly turned off for ARM. Or as we call it, playing Kokushima discards.
Yeah, there were a number of Kokushi tiles, but Mark wanted something a little bit more realistic and has ended up with Nagashi instead. Fake Nagashi.
One pin pickup by Caden here, taking a second to make a decision.
What a sad tempai. I like this. 5-so Dama. We draw the 4-so, then we can cut the 1-so and take our Tanyao Sanshoku.
Yeah, Sanshoku, yeah. What a great upgrade that would be.
It's actually not that helpful for us, that 2-so. And wow, Anya will get to tempai. That 6-so not dealing in because Don has no Yaku without Richi. And Anya gets Richi Pinhu. This will confirm 3rd place at least, but could do even better with some Uda. Don's ready to slam any good Richi. Chun is Furiten, though. 7-mon's actually not the worst, but it's not that great.
Each.
We'll take it.
Take it, though.
He sees the 3 5-mon, says, I can't wait any longer. Only 1 7-mon left in the wall. Only 2 of the 2-mon left in the wall. No 5-mon are available. And Mark's best bet here, it feels like just letting this hand go to Ryukyoku and getting a repeat.
Yeah, again, of course, they can't see what we see, but yeah, knowing that there's only 1 left, you're praying to yourself, sumo, 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 or to your point, yeah, or if not, then please let me get to Ryukyu.
Yeah, and across the table, like, so close to overtaking Anya for 3rd place, but the hand shape is bad, so... Oh, but this will direct deal, and Uda would be huge here, actually.
Say, I think you
And
need that.
hits.
And yeah, that'll overtake.
That will overtake. That also is fantastic for Caden, who remains the only player above 30,000 points. So he'll gain an extra 5 points of Uma, plus 38.6 tally for him. Anya will grab the second place, minus 2.4 for her. Dawn, minus 12.6, took the challenge in all last and could not find the 7 Mon, minus 12.6 for him. Mark, minus 23.6. A good recovery after the way that game started. Won a few nice hands there at the end to come back to things. It actually almost took over third place at the very end.
Yeah, a valiant effort by all of them. I think all the players were looking to make something happen there, and the tiles play out how they play out, and it ended up being in favor of Caden here this time. So great job to all the players. And I believe that will end out the series for this B1 table.
It will. That is the final game. I was just checking to see, and wow, this B1 division always has some of the strangest stats. And my eyes are always drawn to that Alon stat. Average win of 8,571. Folks, that is not with a Yakuman. That is not with a Sanbaimon. Usually that's how a player gets an average that high. No, this is just Alon only wins Mongons.
All Mongons all the time.
The reason that it's over AK is that sometimes he wins dealer Mongons.
Yeah, I never had the pleasure of playing against, but I'm sure it will be interesting. Yeah, and great dealing rate. Yeah, low. I mean, generally low dealing average. So that's going to, of course, equate to a fantastic EV stat.
All
13.
right. Well, we saw a bunch of fantastic games tonight. I think we might be calling it for the evening. But that was quite a variance. We've got some B3 games in B1, and all the games had some spicy moments. I'm happy we caught those. Hopefully we got enough clips. I saw a couple come in. I'll be reviewing those later. That would be a lot of fun to watch back. And hopefully the players will also have fun reviewing our thoughts. Certainly, we had fun watching. We hope you did too. For people who are interested in joining the league in the summer session, we are approaching that point of time where deadlines start to crop up. And I believe we are about a month away from the deadline for the summer session. So if you'd like to get involved in the American Ricci Mahjong League, even as a substitute player where you're not committed to a full season, check out our website, americanricci.org. That will give you access to our server where we have got the What Would You Do channels, the game log reviews, and all of the fun Mahjong related content. And of course, you can track all the players' scores as the season goes on. We only saw a few of the divisions, but lots of other games happening as we were watching the ones that we saw. So you can track all of those scores live as the games finish on AmericanRicci.org. Also check out our socials. This VOD will pop up on our YouTube channel at some point. And all the fancy hands, the Sanbaimon hands, the Yakuman hands, and any other notable achievements will appear on our socials at American Ricci for all of that. Also, if you are interested in live play, a number of big Mahjong tournaments have been popping up this year. We've completed 2 tournaments already, and there are even more than 2. There have been some in California, in New York, in Washington, D.C., in Florida. There was a test one-day tournament, and we'll be seeing more as well. I believe the next upcoming tournament will be in New York, the big Ricci Nomi Open, massive 200-player tournament with a prize pool. That is definitely something to look out for. I believe they've capped out on their participants. However, there is a waitlist running, so if you're interested in that tournament, you can visit the Ricci Nomi Open 2025 webpage. And there are more tournaments coming after that. In fact, there should be one coming up in Texas soon, right?
That's correct. It'll be in the middle of August this year.
August, I believe 16th is the date for that 2-day tournament. and can visit. You can search up North Texas Ricci Open 2025. You can find all the information for that. I'll be playing in that, and so should be a lot of fun. It'll be my first time playing mahjong in Texas. Also,
We're-
there's a Chicago tournament coming up too in September, so I'll be probably staffing that, but I'll definitely be there as well. And if folks are interested, Chicago area Ricci tournament 2025 is the place to go for that. And I've heard rumors of a large number of other tournaments as well. One in Vegas, I believe, is officially announced, and there will be more around the country as well. So definitely check everything out. Have we missed
I'm super-
any call outs?
No, you just listening to you go through everything, Nathaniel, has been great. I'm super excited. Like we said at the start of the stream, we've split now our C League into 2 individual leagues itself. Ricci Mahjong continues to grow here in America, and I, for one, couldn't be more excited. I love seeing all of our new players, and I love getting the opportunity to play against everybody here. So please, as Nathaniel said, if you are interested in any way, shape, or form, check out the website, check out our Discord. We'd love to have you.
And with that, we will tune out, but you can tune in next week at Wednesday on regular time, presumably, unless we get an early start. You can check out the second week of round 5 action for the American Ricci Mahjong League. Until then, have a great one. See you in the next broadcast.
Good night, everybody.